Welcome to the 121% podcast powered by Century 21 One Blue and the One Blue Real Estate School. Our show here is dedicated to helping agents and brokerages take their business to 121% through motivation, education, and action. My name is Kevin Johnson. I'm the CEO and managing broker.
Hey, I'm Gavin Hatcher. I'm the Chief Success Officer here.
And down at the end we have...
Hey guys, this is Daniel Rodriguez. I am Marketing Director here at Century 21 One Blue.
Excellent. So we got a great show today for...
Okay, so before we start, first of all, today is the 3rd anniversary of becoming Century 21 Brokerage.
Yeah,
so congratulations.
Thank you. It's
Kevin.
been a fun ride. It snuck up on me because yesterday I'm going like, wait, it's June. Shoot, tomorrow? Oh my God! It's been 3 years since we made the change, and
that's insane.
It has been incredible. I mean, the growth we've experienced since then has been off the charts, and
now you're number one fastest growing agent count in Florida.
Yeah, for May,
that blew my mind.
We were top 21 for last year, and then for May within the month, ranked number 13 in Florida. I mean, number 13 in the world, and number 1 in Florida.
That's insane. And I was
good job, Gavin. High five.
Well, mate.
I was reflecting on that yesterday, just thinking about that, about the process. And I have a question. I know that I'm going to divert a little bit from the topic that we had scheduled for today.
We're not, I forget the topic.
I mean, it's a really important question.
Just throw this
show notes. Okay,
right,
let's do it.
Okay, so
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is a non-rehearsed, non-thought-through podcast. We are not responsible for what happens from this forward. If you dislike this show, please email Daniel at c211blue.com. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, now I feel the pressure. So if it is a bad question,
see, now we need a button. Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, so taking into account all this process and the success that this brokerage has had, I was thinking, like, if you were to start all over again, if you were to do it all over again and start again, and knowing where you are right now, knowing everything that you know right now, is there anything that you would do differently?
Would I hire Gavin?
Okay, cut.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely, there would be a lot of things I'd do differently. What about you?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you go first.
I mean, you live, you learn.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. I think, we've talked about it in other podcasts.
And Daniel, you know how much he loves unrehearsed stuff, right? So this should be fun.
Yeah. Going off script, not mine. It's always kind of dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, obviously from the other podcast, you know that I came from a bartending background and a dancing background before that, but I had it was the thing. I had a lot of customers at the restaurant Santiago's Bodega, telling me that I should get into real estate, and I didn't listen to them. I didn't listen to them for a couple of years.
Wow, that long?
Yeah,
I didn't know it was that long.
No, it was a couple of years.
So it was not months.
Oh no, it wasn't
I'm
like
learning.
they were like, it wasn't like they were kind of like, hey, you should get into real estate. And the next month I went, okay. It's like it took me a little while. I mean, when you're working in a restaurant though, you got that easy cash in hand, that money at the end of the night. You're not worrying about it. You just working shift to shift. So I never really listened to them and really took that seriously. I never thought I could do it. I was just like, really? I have to do a whole exam and things like that. So,
so you would listen to them sooner?
Yes, I would have listened to them a lot sooner. Got into real estate a lot sooner, and I would have. When I passed my exam, I would have shopped around a lot more for brokerages.
What do you mean?
I would have shopped around just to do my due diligence, to see what everybody could offer me, to find out what was working for different agents and what they were looking for in their careers. How did they start out? What did they need when they were starting out? I had no idea what I needed. I didn't know until I didn't know. Until I got to the point where I'm like, hang on, and I saw the difference between where I was and where I could be.
Mm-hmm. I love you always tell me I didn't know what I didn't know.
Yeah. And I came here for, I'm 45 and then realized, oh, okay, I could be getting all this, with the technology and the support. And so, I think if I had to do it all again, I definitely shop around and maybe think, I don't know, maybe look into what really, really matters to me. What really matters to me as an agent, what I'm going to need, what is my motivation as well, what gets me from from A to B. What's my why?
What's your why?
So so I think I would have basically shopped around a lot more, maybe taking my time a little bit more in the beginning, just choosing a brokerage and just thinking about, what I needed and maybe asking a lot more questions.
What type of questions would you have asked? I mean, for those that remember, you kind of went with a friend, right? It's like, hey, independent boutique with a friend.
It was easy. It was easy just to do that. It was a natural kind of like, well, I can just,
Because you didn't know what you didn't know.
I didn't know what I didn't know. So
You didn't know what to ask.
I didn't shop around. I didn't go to any other brokerages. I didn't interview anywhere else. I just literally went, oh, okay, you got a brokerage. I'll just go there. That seems like fun. Without really,
the British accent just makes it so much. That sounds like fun.
Well, it did. It sounded like a good laugh. So I was like, okay, well, I can have fun.
Because that's your number one quality when searching for a brokerage. Where will you get the good laugh? And who knew? And here you get better laughs.
I like to have fun when I work, all right?
Yeah, we know.
That's important.
It is. Yeah, you gotta enjoy going to work.
Yeah, exactly. You got to enjoy what you do every day. And for me, it was, I've never been a 9 to 5 until now. But I've never been
volunteered.
Yeah. But yeah, so I've never been that guy to really, I've always, when I was dancing, I was doing, my timetable was all over the place. My schedule was all over the place. So I never really had a set schedule. And then when I was bartending, I'd have some day shifts, some night shifts. That was all over the place as well. So there was never any, set regularity to what I was doing. So when you get into real estate, you need to plan your days. You need to make sure that you're being productive every single day. You need to make sure that you're time blocking. That's going to be a tactical tips.
All right.
Listen out for that one. You need to make sure you're doing things like the things you don't know, that I've now, obviously now I've joined the brokerage. Now I've learned these things and okay, yeah, that's going to help me. And I had no idea about these things in the beginning. And I made the mistake of just going where it was easy.
Did you know about those things before making the transition, or was it once you made the transition, you learned about time blocking and all that?
Once I made the transition. Yeah. Because I didn't really know at the time. I wasn't getting as much support as I wanted. Don't get me wrong. It's a successful brokerage and, those guys are great. It just wasn't working for me. It's not what I needed as a new agent.
Right. Definitely. Anything else you'd do differently?
I'm trying to think.
And even if you were, for example, if we could go back in time and to the time where you were dancing and performing, do you think you would actually, if knowing what you know now, would you go dual career on that one?
Nah, just would have done the dancing.
That's where he met his wife. You couldn't do dual career with that because you were on ships and stuff.
And because I was everywhere, I was all over the world. I was on
ships
tour. I was over the world. I was on ships. You never know what you're doing day to day. You're in a studio shooting a video all day, or you're going off and doing a arena tour or something like that. So I could never have done real estate at the same time as that.
Okay.
But I wish I'd started earlier, definitely. I wish when I'd moved to Orlando, I just got straight into real estate. I wish I'd just got straight into it then, and I could have been, maybe 7-8 years ahead of the game right now.
Quick side tangent, like not deep dive on this, but why did you give up dancing?
I got old. As simple as that. I got old. I never really I never really wanted to teach. Not dancing anyway. I just enjoyed going out and performing and, that lifestyle. And I think I just got to I'm 44 now.
You are.
And I stopped dancing, I think, when I was around 34-ish or,
Yeah. I was just curious. Like, I never asked you that question before.
Well, it's aches and pains. Your body starts giving out on you, even at that age.
I wouldn't know. I'm still 29.
Yeah.
And
You've been
holding.
29 for a few years now.
Shh.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was a simple kind of, hey, you can't dance forever. You can't do this career forever.
That should be a song. You can't dance forever. I feel like that's a song
Now,
title.
you can do real estate forever.
True. Well,
Yeah.
Well, pretty well.
Dale proves that.
yeah, right.
But yeah, I couldn't dance forever, and I realized I needed to make a change. Plus, got married, moved to this country, and I was like, well, I should maybe start a new career, new country, new career, new everything.
New wife, new country, new career.
Exactly.
Just
New life.
reboot.
And it's obviously, I went into the easy. I was good with customer service. I used to. I managed a bar in the UK. So I was into bar management and everything. So the natural progression was just to, get into the scene over here, which I did, and was successful doing that, and then go into real estate. But as I said, I wish I'd done it earlier. I wish, knowing what I know now, I wish I got into real estate straight away.
It's funny because we were talking about yesterday. There's another agent that started roughly around the same time you did, within a few months.
Yeah.
That agent's struggling, and you've had immense success. It's interesting to see the same tools, the same resources, the same everything. How you were able to be successful being dual career for the first more than half of that. Attending bar, and then towards the end, before we made the transition to the corporate life,
it ain't easy.
It was easy, but to show the path that everybody can have the same toolbox. It's kind of off topic, I guess. Back to what we were supposed to be talking about, but whatever about that.
Yeah, we went off that way ages ago. This guy's fault.
Yeah, So we'll deal with that later. But you can have everybody can have the same toolbox. It's. Do you pick up the tools and use them? And are you using the right tools for the right job?
Exactly.
That's what makes that's powerful. That's what makes the big difference, right? And when you're not successful, it's typically because you've woken up every morning and made a decision to make excuses and not make money.
Yeah.
I agree. No, this is great. A great opportunity to get to know you. And in your case, Kevin, is there anything that you would do differently? Knowing what you know now.
I've been still working on the hiring Gavin decision, trying to evaluate.
Can we cut this bit out?
Nope. If I have to go off script, we're going off script.
Number one growth in Florida right now. Come on.
Yeah, I know. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Yeah. I would say yes. So I always say I started out with Century 21. That's not entirely true. For about 2 weeks, I was with a independent brokerage. And it was because of I made that transition from timeshare, doing that for a couple months because I just wanted to give it a try.
I thought about that at one point as well.
Coming from the hospitality industry, vacation homes are huge here in Central Florida. They actually account for more tourism tax dollars than hotels do. So I went with one of the larger vacation home brokerages and management companies in town. And I started there, and I'm like, I'll never forget, I was out at an event and met one of my friends who was a Century 21 broker. And he's like, hey, I saw you got your license on Facebook. I'm like, yeah, I did. He's like, where you at? I'm like, X Brokerage. He goes, who? I'm like, when I said the name, he goes, no, I heard you. Just who the hell are they? And so I went and met with him. So that would be my first thing, is going as a new agent, going with a major brand. The second thing I would say I would do differently is going back to I didn't know what I didn't know, just like you. That broker was a good friend, or so I thought. He's a competing broker, meaning when for newer agents, or you're getting into this business, your broker is either competing or non-competing. Non-competing means their whole focus is serving their agents. They don't actively sell. They're not actively promoting. They may work their own friends and referrals, which is fine, but they're not actually marketing and promoting themselves to attract new consumers. This particular broker was. And at my very first listing appointment, which was a friend of a friend, so I got the referral in. I was so excited. It was actually a really nice house. I went to this broker and said, help me, right? And he helped me prepare a listing presentation. And then he helped me lose the listing, because he called and set an appointment right behind me and pitched hey, he's new. I'm his broker. Hire me, and I'll let him work it with me. So you'll still have Kevin, and he'll learn and be able to do it, and you'll have the broker as well. And it was then that I called another broker that I had met at an event, and it was another Century 21 broker, and they had been actively trying to get me to switch. So I packed my stuff and went, and I was there until the very end when we made the move to go independent. So I would definitely find out whether I wouldn't go to a competing brokerage.
No.
I don't want the person that's supposed to help me grow my business
still
be my competitor.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's crazy.
That was 99.9999999% of brokers would never do that, right? So that was, I'm not trying to, slam competing brokers. There are some great competing brokers out there. Just, that's not something I would do over again. The flip side of that is, when I first got started, I mean, I'm pretty happy. I went all in. And it was a big risk. I mean, today Kevin might not make that same decision because I'm a little bit more reserved on my risk taking sometimes, but I literally quit a 6-figure job and said, okay, let's do this with savings and Amex. And oh God, I better hope. And thank God it did. I mean, I closed over 100,000 in commissions in my first 90 days. So the end result was good. I got a little crazy. I mean, getting that much money that fast, I did a little bit stupid spending. I probably would have done a little bit smarter spending.
I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, most people would, right? I can't. So probably a little bit smarter spending. But no, I mean, from that point on, when we opened the brokerage, as I told the story in episode 1, I wanted to go from being a Centurion producing agent to being a Century 21 broker owner. And due to the great policies of not pillaging and plundering, we had to go independent. And we went independent as 100% brokerage. I probably would not have done that over again. It was my lack in confidence in would a top producing agent in the market want to come work for a brand new no name. So I'm like, well, if I can just give them, 100%, would that work? And I probably wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
And I probably would have been a little bit more persistent in chasing Century 21. I didn't chase them. Thankfully, they called me in April of 18 when I got the phone call. Actually, he came here. Rick Ellis came to visit. I never forget, I was in your office, wasn't your office at the time. And I heard at the front, it's Rick Ellis from Realogy. It's Kevin here. And I'm like, oh, I want to talk to him. I gave him the grand tour. And I said, imagine all this could have been Century 21. He goes, that's what I'm here to talk about. Would you, basically the short of the conversation was, would you join the brand? And best decision ever. So, I mean, really back and looking at what I do over again. Yeah, I mean, not going straight in working for a major brand. And the main point of that is being independent for those first couple weeks, I lost valuable time. And it showed that once I made that switch to Century 21, being brand new in this business, I was able to take off like a rocket ship because I had that Century 21 name behind me.
Yeah.
And in all fairness, that's going to be Century 21, Remax, Coldwell Banker, any of the big global brands, right? Keller Williams to a certain degree has that, but because they're expanding globally. But I'm talking about the major brands, the legacy brands, the brands that have been around for decades, that are known, liked, and trusted by consumers. That their name is synonymous with real estate. That is who you should work for. And keep in mind, too, as a new agent, that every Century 21 is independent, and all the brands, right? They're all independently owned and operated. So when it comes to like the Realogy brands, are a bit different from some of the other ones. It's a completely different culture, office, everything. You have the system tools, the system logos, the system marks and stuff. But my first two Century 21s could not have been more different. I mean, you other than Century 21 being right before their DBA, not the same company. I mean, it was, and I will say we are completely different than those two brokerages. I took my learnings from those two to try to create here and create a better environment for everyone. Like, going back at what were my pain points? Having a good website, having a good CRM system, marketing, email marketing, text marketing, marketing support, and creating images and stuff. And my goal has always been to help solve all of those pain points in our offering and our value prop.
Yeah.
And I think we'd be much more successful knowing what I know now too, because, we had learning curves in the first couple years. I mean, we still learn. There's things, we do a survey twice a year with the agents, a big one in January, July, August, we do a little bit smaller one just to check to see. But after the January one, we make changes. We say, what do our agents like, don't like? What are they using, right? Because they could say they like it, but if they're not using it, then why are we paying for it? Could we take that money and put it to something else that they say they need that we don't have? So I would be able to take almost 5 years of learning, right? And just skip all that. When we open the doors, straight into it.
Oh, but without those experiences at the other brokerages, you wouldn't be
Who you are, right?
Well,
now.
right. No,
Yeah.
I'm talking. No, I'm talking about in
Yeah.
when I opened One Blue, when we were One Blue Real Estate in 2016.
Yeah.
Right. Knowing everything I know now as being a broker for 5 years, right? That would have been cool. Like just to skip all those learning curves,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
I would have gone Boomtown day one
Yeah.
for one. I'll tell you that right now. If you're not on Boomtown, why? Call me. I will screen share with you. Connect with Kevin.com and you can schedule an appointment. I will be happy to show you why I am so passionate about Boomtown, why it is the best in the market for real estate agents. Boomtown would have been number one. I actually built my own site because I was all about, I have to be independent from my broker. I don't want my broker to own this, right? And, I learned quickly that, why spend money when if the broker's offering a great tool, leverage the broker's tool. It saves you money.
Yeah.
And if you ever want to leave, that's fine. People get divorced and agents leave brokerages. It happens. Make sure your brokerage has in the contract that you're going to be able to take your business with you, take your leads with you. We put that in writing, no ifs, ands, or buts. So, yeah, that's what.
Really, really interesting, especially for young real estate agents that are starting right now. And there's one code that I have, like for everything that I do in my life. I think my biggest fear in life is having regrets.
Yeah.
Like being on my deathbed, looking back to everything that I've done and be like, why, like now I regret all my life, or I regret X or Y decision.
Or I regret not having that experience, like not.
Yeah, like or not doing what I really wanted to do, right? Maybe I was working on a job that I really didn't care much, and I wanted to be a real estate agent all my life. I never took that step because of fear or frustration, or maybe I think that I'm not good enough for it. And that's when you have to think if you're going to be regretting that decision 20 years from now.
I celebrate failure.
Yeah.
I have failed many times. I was homeless when I was 18, to where I am now. I made bad decisions, Coming to Orlando from Louisiana was a huge, like, oh my God, money shock. I lived in my 1990 Toyota Corolla.
Oof.
I slept in the Epcot Cast Center parking lot. And I don't know if they still have them now, but as a Disney cast member, they had showers. And because you would, back then, every day you would show up in street clothes, check out a costume, go to your locker, change, and go. So there was always a place for you to change. So that's why I showered and changed there. And that was for several months as I made some bad decisions, but I wasn't giving up. I was not going to go back home to Louisiana and, to all the people that said you're making a bad decision and let them think they were right. That was not freaking happening. Hell no. But I look back and, someone asked me once, do I regret any of those decisions? And I'm like, not really. Conventional logic would say, well, go back and redo it and not make the bad decisions. But then who would I be today if I didn't go through the struggles and the hardships?
Exactly.
Right. So yeah, I don't regret.
And that's something that is really important. Some people are not willing to take a risk, right? So what is the balance? How can you find balance between, like, I need to make a reasonable logic decision versus I got to take a risk?
Yeah. It's gut.
You've got to make the leap. You've got to be prepared to fail.
You have to say, I go into something like, if I fail, it's okay. Like when I went for my instructor exam, there's like 300-something thousand licensees, and there's like less than 1,000 active instructors. I think it's like 700-something change right now. And it's the hardest exam there is. Or I would say it has the lowest pass rate. I don't say it's the hardest exam. It's the lowest pass rate of all the exams that they give in the division of real estate. Like at that point, it was like 7% pass rate.
Wow.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go in. I just passed my broker's test. I'm like, might as well. It's just a little bit harder of a broker kind of test. I'm going to go in and I'm going to fail it. I just want to kind of I want to see what the test is like, because there's no class, there's no book. It's just you know it or you don't know it.
Right.
So I just want to go in and try. And so when I walked out, I was walking up to the counter. And the lady, they give you the paper. If it's, face down, 1 page you passed, 2 pages you failed. I'm like, how bad did I do? She goes, you passed. I'm like, what? She goes, no, you passed. How many times did you take you? I'm like, first try.
Nice.
And she's like, really? We've never had someone first try at this office. I'm like, I didn't even study. And I'm not saying it to be braggadocious. It was that because I didn't care, because I was like, hey, if I fail, I'm okay. I wasn't stressed about failing. I wasn't worried, oh my God, if I fail, it's going to be the end of the world, right? And that's what so many people worry about. You know, once you've been homeless, nothing else matters. You know where the bottom is, right? And so
I agree.
relative, I was like, you know, and went in there. I mean, just, I was relaxed. Because I was intending to fail. I mean, it was almost like a matter of pride. How low was my score going to be, right? Like, and so when you pass, they don't tell you the score, which then really pissed me off. Like, really, did I get a 75 or did I get 100 or what? You know, so there's that. So
Okay, really interesting, guys. Do you think that you'll have any regrets now for anything?
I have no regrets. No.
Regrets. What about you, Gavin?
Nope, don't think so.
No
No, your experiences shape you into where into what you are today.
Yep.
So you have to, like Kevin says, you have to celebrate the failures and learn from them, move on, makes you stronger, makes you better.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Okay,
Oh, sorry.
now.
Well, I mean,
Yep.
It's really
there are
interesting.
videos on the internet.
Let's not. Don't even plug those while we're on here.
Yeah. Sweet
No, no, no.
Caroline, Rising
Oh.
Star. I had a mosh pit going on.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
And last
Why?
question,
I don't know.
guys. I have one last question.
All right. So one last question. Okay. So we're already done what?
Okay.
This off-script stuff's like kind of stressing me out.
Me too.
Sometimes
We had this
good
planned,
to wing
man.
it. We got to make this fresh.
We're going to have to have a discussion after this.
Okay, so now that I know that experience, now that I know the things that you would do differently, now that you're right here, looking back to 5 years ago, 10 years ago, were you projecting that you were going to be the person that you're right now? I mean, we all have goals, right, and dreams, and we like.
That's a multi-part question that could be its own podcast right now.
So,
right.
for example, me, I have the vision of, or at least I dream to be one person 10 years from now, right? Time has passed, so.
Not a lot in your case.
No,
But for us, dinosaurs, I think you called us.
Dinosaurs?
Yeah. In episode 1.
Are you right now close to be the person you wanted to be a few years ago?
A few years ago, or okay, yeah. So this is an interesting topic because, and like I said, it could be its own podcast. I do a lot of volunteering with the Boys and Girls Club, and one of the things we try to do is bring in business leaders or people who've been successful in life, whether it be politics or business or whatever. And one of the things they do, especially for the young girls at the club, is that kids grow up and I want to be a firefighter, I want to be an astronaut, I want to be a senator, I want to be a doctor. And we asked the speaker, when you were a kid in high school, or what did you want to be? What was your dream of what you wanted to be when you grew up? And it's never what they are. And the more of the story that, it's okay that dreams can change. Dreams evolve based on our experiences and where life has taken us. And as we go through life's journey, our goals can change, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be an attorney. I never did it. I moved to I came down for grad night to Disney, and I remember when we went back right in high school, we had our graduation party thing they had there. And there was a big map of the country. I said, where do you think you're going to be in 1 year? Go put your name on this map. And I had never thought about it. And I walked up to the map and I said, okay, first criteria, it has to be above sea level. Like, I don't want to look up at the ships like in New Orleans. I want to look down at ships. So that was criteria 1. I said, I'm going to Orlando. Why? I don't know. And graduated, and it was... So that was May. The following April, and I'd been, actually I think it was a McDonald's manager. And I went to saw a commercial for working at Disney. Don't ask me why I picked up the phone, called it. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, yes, great. Phone interview was done that night. Like literally, it's like saw the commercial and to the phone interview were a couple hours. And then they're like, okay, so can you come down for an interview? I'm like, sure. When? Day after tomorrow at this time? I'm like, sure. Hung up, like, okay, how am I getting there?
Yep.
So I called my friend. We drove overnight, came down to Florida, and I started working for Disney. And that changed course, right? That put me in the hospitality space where a 17-year hospitality career developed, rising through the ranks. They worked at Disney, guest relations, guest concierge, and guest services at the hotels. Started out in food and beverage, electric umbrella. It's not there anymore at Epcot. But after 17 years in the hospitality business, I got tired. And so my goal had always been to kind of rise in the ranks at Hilton Corporate, maybe own a hotel. So for 17 years, I was working towards that goal. And then one day I said, I want to be in real estate. Actually, I wanted to be a real estate agent and make the change. And it was right at the peak of right before the recession. And then it collapsed. And I'm like, probably not a good time to do this. Stayed in hotels. And I'm glad I did. Had some great experiences. And then made the decision in actually 2014. And then, but I knew at that point I wanted to own a brokerage. And matter of fact, my very first broker, the competing one, stopped by to say hi. He was in the area a couple weeks ago. And he said, you know what? The first time I met you and we talked about your real estate career, you said you were going to be a broker and you were going to do it in 2 years, and damn, you did. And I'm like, yeah, I forgot I said that, but I put it out there and I made it happen. I mean, just the other day, we have a goal to be what's called the 2100 Club. Yeah, Century 21. So to help hold me to that, I sent an email to the CEO, to the VP of the region, to our...
Oh, I know. You copied me in that.
Exactly. Like, hey, this is our BHAG, Big, Hairy, Audacious Goal. So,
yeah.
Long-winded answer, but yeah, life changes are where we're at. So 2 years ago, or when I got my license and started real estate, I am where I said I was going to be, but probably not where I actually thought in my head I was going to be, because I don't think I'm being, I'm being a little, braggart. I never thought I would actually be running a Century 21 brokerage and have the agent count that we have and the consistency in our agent count and the growth that we're experiencing now, especially come last year. March of last year, I thought it's going to collapse.
Yeah.
So what about you? I'm talking too much. I need water.
Yep. Right there.
Start talking.
Yeah. I never really had a plan. I had no plan. Just when I was a kid, I got into dancing. It was fun. It meant I didn't have to do schoolwork, as much. So, which I hated. I was more the, arty kind of like travel-y, get out there and have fun type, which I danced, when I was a kid. Then I started making money dancing, and that was just blew my mind, because I was like, doing big arena
money, doing something I like to do.
Crazy, right? So, I'm doing arena tours at, Wembley and the O2 Arena in the UK. I'm traveling around the world, and I'm like, I'm making money for this. I had to pinch myself sometimes.
Dating a pop star?
That was way back.
We have video.
But so it's...
Roll the clip. No.
Yeah, so basically, I never really had a plan. I just kind of got into different... I did what I enjoyed. Let's put it that way. I did what I was enjoying doing. And if the money came with it, great. And I never lived to work. I worked to live. So that was my whole thing. As long as I'm enjoying what I'm doing and it pays the bills and... I'm having fun while I'm doing it, then great, let's do this. I never wanted to be in something I didn't enjoy doing. And that's kind of what steered me, I suppose, through life. And yeah, I did the dancing.
Keep thinking that song from Wicked, Dancing Through Life. Like that's like your theme song.
yeah, totally.
Well, that was it. I mean, I never really, I did the bartending thing because I like people and it was fun.
It was cash.
And yeah, exactly.
The drunker they get, the bigger the tips.
And believe it or not, now I've got into this business. Obviously, the people I used to get drunk on the other side of the bar, I'm now selling houses for them. So, it all works.
Well, so they trust you with their alcohol. They'll trust you with their house. The moral of today's story.
Tip of the day.
Trust me with their car keys so they couldn't drive home. Yeah. But yeah, no, I never really...
Oh, so you took their house key off while you had them. Like, oh, you need a new house? Okay, I got you. I'll get your house key.
But yeah, I never really... I don't know. There wasn't a master plan. There was I'm going to do what I enjoy
I
doing.
can believe that.
You can. I know. I bet you can.
That's awesome, guys. So yeah.
What about you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did your goal, your dream? Yeah, buddy.
So I'm going.
Flip the script.
Exactly. Since you left high school last year.
Well, I thought he was still in high school. Sorry.
Still, I just got
Yeah. It's,
So what's the question?
same to you. Like, are you
Same
where
to
you
you.
thought you would be? I know the answer, but 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years. I mean, you where you thought you would be? Well, for you, when you were 18, because that's only a couple years ago.
It's funny because I finished when was that? Okay, so I finished high school like when I was 15.
What?
Uh-huh.
That's different.
You
Yeah,
a freaking
dude, I left high school when I was 16.
Wait,
It's different in different countries, right?
is that normal? The age in
It's
Colombia?
No, but it's not normal. Yeah.
What's the normal graduating age?
There are other
Well,
countries out there.
They kicked you out, so
Like
they're like
17. Like
Okay,
at
so it's still
17,
early.
So I was pretty early.
Now, did you leave or did you like?
No, I
you
finished.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's,
Then I started college and I was doing political science.
Doogie Howser here.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like I always knew this was the goal. You
Your
know,
goal was to be a media director at a real estate company.
to be a media director.
Okay.
That part just like evolved a little bit. But if that is something that is, and for young like entrepreneurs or people that are just trying to find their big why or their passion, I think that's it's important to see themselves, to project themselves, right? Being happy. And that is something like it's what you're doing is it's key, because I also only do what I enjoy. I'm always doing like filmmaking, marketing. That is my thing, and you're never going to find me doing something different, because I know that I would just not take it. Like it's just like I don't have the spirit for it, you know. So right now, I am where I wanted to be and beyond. I think, and it's just like it's been hard work. It's been being just giving that 21% extra.
21.
Yeah, no, but
21,
I mean,
yeah.
that 21%
Extra.
that everyone gives the 100%. Every
Well,
on average, everyone tries.
Everyone
you know?
aspires to, yeah.
Everyone aspires to just when they I don't know, send a proposal, they always give their 100%, right? But it's the ones that give that 21% that actually make it.
The 21% separates the ordinary from the extraordinary.
That's what sets you apart, and people feel it, and that's when you go beyond your expectations and become the person that you wanted to be. And Matthew McConaughey once said, like, I don't have a hero. I'm my hero. Like, the me from 30 years from now is my hero. The me from 10 years from now is that's the person I want to be. I don't want to be this person. No, that's the person that I'm following. And then I'm going to follow myself in 20 years.
Yeah.
So it's just like a constant chase. And that means,
But you need to say it with the
purpose.
accent. You need to say it with that McConaughey accent. It's just not the same.
That's not saying. So I think that's finding purpose, and I'm pretty happy where I am right now.
You're a good storyteller. Yeah. You're a good storyteller, and I think for someone who is going to do filming or that kind of stuff, you have to be successful to be a storyteller. Anyone can shoot video. Anyone can edit video. It's doing it with purpose and creating that story, but just envisioning what the story is from start to finish. You made a comment one day about how you enjoyed you do our listing photos and video, and you enjoyed, and you did that before freelance for a different company, but now you enjoyed it more because you had in your head, once you got to the house, how things were going to flow, and you're able to pull it together that way, where before it's like, go snap some photos, go snap some video, and send it off for them to edit. Here you're storytelling and you're planning that. So that's what makes you so extraordinary in what you do. You're definitely a perfectionist. We got to work more on the quantity over quality, or it's better done than perfect. I love that saying. But no, you're an amazing storyteller, and you're passionate about it. If you weren't passionate about it, if it wasn't who you are, if it wasn't in your spirit, as you said, it wouldn't come through.
Yeah, totally. And as I wanted to throw this question from the beginning, just thinking about this process. It's 3 years now, and I'm sure there are young real estate agents right now having these questions and looking up to you guys, just wondering if like what's their story going to be.
I think he just called us old again.
He did.
No,
But with a compliment this time.
experience.
It was a backhanded.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
It was better, much more improved over dinosaurs.
I know. I like that one.
I was like, I break through that seriousness with some fun.
No, experienced. So thank you for sharing that. I'm sure that people listening to you are learning, and
Hopefully.
just
Hopefully they're listening.
They will.
Exactly.
And if they're listening, we'll go with
That'd be
learning.
nice.
Please listen. I mean,
Thank you so much for answering those questions.
yeah. I mean, it was interesting topic, taking us completely off script. But
Hey, at least we've got another podcast now that we haven't filmed.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. I mean, it works. So, was anything else?
Nope.
No.
I'm satisfied.
Okay. Well, then my day is complete. I mean, Daniel's satisfied. We're good.
We're
All
good.
right.
That's
We're good.
what's most important.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for watching on YouTube, listening on podcast. If you enjoyed our show, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and also click the bell if you'd like to be notified of our new videos. If you really enjoyed this video, please do us that huge favor. Smash the like button to help out the YouTube algorithm. If you're listening on your favorite podcast app, please consider leaving us that 5-star review. And if you enjoyed the show, it's a 121% podcast. If you didn't enjoy this show, this is the ABCs of building houses. So you can go leave a review over there. Just saying. Anyway, as we always say, go out there and be extraordinary. And no matter what, every day, make sure that you're giving it 121%.